at the end of days. The first sign shall appear in the heavens.
You have just ensured the doom of this world. You cannot even begin to imagine what you've set in motion this day.
You thought you were so clever. That you'd outwitted us all. One by one, our brethren fell into your trap. Soon an army shall pour forth from the shattered mountain, ravaging this world and all hope of resistance. And at long last, Osmodan shall reign as the Prime Weaver.
And welcome to the pit. Not sports talk today, here on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills. In case you didn't quite get the point of that intro, or if you haven't been following us on Facebook or Twitter, we are not talking sports at all today. We are talking video games and nerdgasms galore. I am Damien Dennis, your usual host here on the pit. Not alone today, but with new co-hosts for the day. I got Dylan Duhlberg from the Oakland Post, incoming freshman, actually. How are you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing awesome.
No, fellow nerd.
Yes, sir.
Now, I got somebody on the line who's actually really dear to my heart, in a way. And his name's Mark Lucky Lynch. Hey, how are you, Lucky?
Doing good.
Yeah, you know, you may have heard me talk about Lucky before. He's actually the man behind the Sleeping Awake music project, which provides us with quite a bit of our music here on the pit. Not all of it. I got my buddy Kevin Spees who does one intro. I have an intro that I made, but usually all my music stuff comes from Lucky here. So, oh yeah. So today on the show we're going to be talking nothing but video games, which is completely awesome. Don't you guys agree?
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I feel like we're off to a little bit of a slow start after that epic intro. What do you think of that, Lucky? I kind of remixed a couple of your songs there, you know, and it took me a good, 3 hours this morning to do.
Dude, that was epic. When I heard it mixed with the audio, I was like, oh, yes, he used the demon for that one.
Oh, yeah. The demon then through the red door.
Yep, the demon in the red door, yep. I love those, and it was just hearing it like that, it just kind of, blows me away. 'Cause I'm like, dude, I just make music with my laptop, now it's on the radio show. It's pretty sweet.
Absolutely. All right, so first half of the show, we're going to be talking about nothing but Diablo III. Oh, such a odd thing to talk about. Usually I'm in here talking Oakland athletics and NFL, NHL. Instead, we're talking Blizzard Entertainment. Freaking one of my most favorite video games from 10 years ago. Finally coming out the third installment, and I am pumped beyond belief. I'm not going to have a life this summer. Let's put it that way.
The first one was all the way in 96, wasn't it?
96, 97, yeah. And, you know, the whole premise of the story is basically heaven versus hell, which, you know, in case people don't know, the kind of, the concept behind, the name of the show, The Pit, is because my nickname is The Demon, the name of the song that played during the intro there, you know. You know, that's why Lucky made it for me, is because my name's The Demon. And the name of the show's The Pit, so The Demon's Pit. And, you know, it didn't originate out of Diablo, but a lot of like the background of like my novel and stuff started in Diablo, even though it's not quite related anymore. But that's getting off topic. Let's talk about this game. Little bit of backstory. First of all, I guess before we do that, we've all played Diablo 2, right?
I have.
Talk about it a little bit for me, guys.
Well, it starts off just with the end of Diablo 1. At the end of the first game, he kills the Diablo's mortal form, and this is so not sports.
I know. It's such a weird thing.
He captures Diablo in a soul stone or whatever, and he drives into his own forehead to try to keep Diablo in the stone, and then it kind of just takes off from there.
Yeah, he pretty much becomes possessed by the demon within himself, which is just an awesome concept. And the first game is actually there's so much backstory to it. It's kind of like Star Wars. There's just so much backstory to it that you really have to go deeper to understand it. And like the whole plot of the game is heaven versus hell, basically. The mortal realms caught in between. Basically, their battleground. Both heaven and hell are fighting over mortal souls to pretty much gain leverage in this eternal war that they're waging against each other. And what ends up happening in Diablo 1, like Dylan said, Hero, like Diablo actually breaks free. He corrupts King's son, Prince, forget his name at the moment. I never actually completely played through Diablo 1. I know the story. That game was just like, ugh, but it wasn't a bad game. It was just really hard to get through.
Yeah, it's pretty dense.
But the whole point, the hero at the end slays Diablo, but Diablo's soul is trapped in this stone, and he shoves it in his own head to try and contain the Lord of Terror. And then we move into the second game. Basically, Diablo corrupts the guy, and Diablo corrupts the guy and leads him through the entire continent to free his brothers, who are the primevals of hell, the lords of hell, and
who were also corrupted.
Yeah. But and Diablo 2 starts from there. You start out basically same area that you played Diablo 1 in, and it just goes from there, travel throughout the continent. You eventually get to hell. You got the expansion pack, Lord of Destructions, where you finally defeat Baal. And, the whole story is just awesome. I mean, I don't know. Lucky, you want to chime in with anything real quick?
Yeah, I just, with Diablo 2, I haven't played that in a long time, but I do remember how fun that game was. Long nights of endless Mountain Dew and just hacking slashing my way through stuff.
Definitely, I remember that my first 2 years of high school playing that game were just awful. Right now I'm doing pretty good in college. My associate's degree has honors. I get my bachelor's in December, but my freshman and sophomore year of high school, my future did not look so bright because I was doing nothing but playing Diablo 2 for my entire life, basically. Me, I know I've mentioned this guy on the radio before. He actually does game reviews for our Facebook page. Kyle Orski, he's kind of the guy who got me into games. Lucky, Kyle.
Yeah, Korski.
Yeah, and, we just kind of, got too much into it. See, he was always smarter, so he was still able to get good grades. Me, I did nothing but play. And that was with a very poor quality PC at the time too, so I did not play well either. But the whole point of this show today is because it's Tuesday, I believe. Diablo 3 comes out. It was announced in 2008, but it's been 12 years since Diablo 2 came out, 11 since Lord of Destruction, the expansion pack. Well, like I said, this is usually a sports show, but I'm so invested into this series, because so much of everything that I love when it comes to gaming anyway came out of this series, and now, the third installment's coming out. It's just big enough to where, especially since I'm on a college radio station, I can take the time to talk about it and share my love with whoever's listening, with my friends who are here right now. It's just, it's going to be just hell for me this summer. Let's put it that way. Lucky, are you planning on playing it at all this summer?
I am. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I upgraded a PC.
Nice. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, I had Diablo 2, and when I was playing that, I was also playing Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and it was all great. Probably one of the greatest hack and slash games I've ever played, because I could go from doing the slow-paced RPGs to rolling right into Diablo 2 and just beating the crap out of stuff. And it was just so much fun, and then when I heard that was announced, I even have a Diablo 3 shirt from back a long time ago that was at Hot Topic when it was like, basically announced it was going to be official, and that was like a couple of years ago. When they knew that it was going to be 100% official, and then they had a shirt out and went right to Hot Topic, picked it up.
Yeah. I did not know they had shirts like that, but kind of makes me a little bit depressed that I did not go out and get one. But, obviously we got Diablo 3 coming out on Tuesday. Big event in the gaming world, entertainment world, pretty much. And, I'm not going to buy the game right away, simply because I'm broke. I'm a college student. I have no money. If anyone's listening wants to hire a journalism major, bring it on. Come on. I'll talk about anything. I can talk sports, business, news, video games, booze. But
combination of those.
Yeah, anything you want me to talk or write about, I can do. But this game basically picks up 20 years after Diablo 2 ended, and what happens is that, like, the background, a little bit more background for the story is that there's actually 7 great evils, 4 of them considered lesser evils, 3 prime. The prime evils are Diablo and his brothers. The lesser evils are pretty much like, they're still like, I don't know, I'd say cousins in a way. They're kind of like cousins. I mean, they're not. But a little bit of background on those guys is that they're all supposed to be the 7 heads of a dragon called Temet. I might have that name wrong, but
Temet, yeah.
And continue on. Basically, there's 2 lesser evils left: Esmodon, who you heard in our intro, and Belial. And these guys are basically out to become the new primevals. But Belial, as far as I know, as of right now of the story, Belial is going to do something to betray Asmodon in Act 2 that brings Diablo back. And from there, I mean, obviously we don't know a lot of the story. Blizzard has done a great job of keeping the story hidden, but we know enough. And there's something about a black soul stone, which relates back to Diablo 2, with how the soul stones have, contain the souls of the primevals, basically. And, and another big event was actually key, and I can't believe I forgot. Actually, Kyle just sent me something on Facebook that reminded me. At the end of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, there's the World Stone, which the Archangel Tyrael destroys, which plays a role because you may have heard in the intro as well, Asmodon's legion's going to come from the Shattered Mountain. The Shattered Mountain is Mount Ariat from Diablo 2, which housed the World Stone. And that was a barrier that kept the powers of mortals in control and kept the, how do I say this, like, the lands, the continent is called Sanctuary, the land's called Sanctuary, kept it hidden and protected, not completely, but from the burning hells and high heavens. So, the story just goes on. It's like, it's basically a bloodbath, and oh, I just can't wait. I'm getting so worked up sitting here trying to talk about it. It's like, can we just have it already? We still got, 4 days? God, I want to kick something.
Yeah. Did you download the beta?
No, I did not. I
played it for a little bit, but it ended on the 1st, didn't it?
Yeah, it ended,
I think it ended May 1st.
It ended May 1st early in the morning, so.
But one of the things, if we're going to talk gameplay for a sec.
Yeah, especially if you played it, even if it was just for a little while.
One of the things that I thought was totally different about this game was there was classes. Like, at your character creation, not just picking a name and a color of your cape. You're picking what kind of player you are. It's not like the classic like, oh, I'm a healer, oh, I'm a tank. No, there's a literal path.
And I like you bring that up. That's going to be a big part of our discussion in the second half of the show. Just cut you off real quick.
No worries. So basically, you got, and if I forget anything, let me know. Like, you got the barbarian, a demon hunter, a monk, a witch doctor, and a wizard. Essentially, the last two are kind of the same. But basically, not only does it choose what you look like, it chooses what weapons you can use, what weapons you automatically use. Like the demon hunter, for example, has 2 pistols, which doesn't make sense, but they look badass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you play it too?
Yeah.
No, actually, I watched videos of it.
Same thing I did. You took my route.
Yep. I couldn't download it, but I watched that, and I also watched that dude on YouTube, Boogie or whatever. He gets on there, and he had a whole playthrough of, like, the first chapter or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't get very far. If you play it on hardcore, oh shit, it is hard.
Super hard.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
What do you think about the in-game, or the thing they're going to do with the items, where you can, like, buy, sell items online for actual...
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, we kind of got a little bit sidetracked there for a second. Basically, they have 2 different auction houses in the game. And obviously we don't know too much about them, but these auction houses, one's for in-game gold, in-game money, and then real-world money. I'll talk about real-world money because obviously we're going to know how in-game works.
Yeah.
You know, you put something up for sale, players, you know, other players from around the world, or at least on your server, can buy it. When it comes to the, real-world money, there's a $250 cap for an item. And
God forbid, I don't know who can spend $250.
Trust me, I'll talk about that because actually, you know, I'm sitting.
Because you will.
No, I won't. But I know somebody who has. He's our game reviewer, Kyle Orski, back for Diablo 2. Now he didn't spend that much. It was not that much, but anyway, we'll get to that here in a second. Basically, like the real world money auction works. There's not a listing fee actually. They had one. They took it down. They didn't want that. But basically, for every item you sell, Blizzard takes $1 out of it. Plus, they take a 15% like commission type fee. But you know, on top of that, you know, you can sell anything for up to $250. Which, you know, thinking about it, you might think that nobody is really going to spend that much on something that's not real, basically. And you know, I mean, it's something that's not real, but people are going to spend their money on it just to help themselves get better, you know, in game. But, you know, this is an issue because back in Diablo 2, you had people going online selling like gear and characters and accounts for real world money what's the word I'm looking for? They were selling gear and accounts for real world money that could either scam people or be legitimate. And Kyle Orski's actually sending me some IMs right now. He mentions that when he bought something in Diablo 2, it was only for like $20 for a couple weapons, and he traded them the next day for a hammered in gear. So, I mean, he had a good use for it, but you know, it's still it's basically Kyle just said it perfectly. It's a microtransaction system controlled by the players. And there's ways for people to make money off that, you know. It's kind of one of those things that you think about it and you think it's stupid, but you already know that there's going to be people who are going to utilize that to a T.
Yeah, my friend's dad actually, I forgot what game it was, but he made bank off of just playing like it was his job. It kind of was, actually, because he would just sell his accounts to people and make tons of money off of it.
Absolutely.
People would WoW, too. People would play WoW just to build up a high-level character and then sell it to someone for like $200 to $400.
Absolutely. And you know what? Actually, I just got another IM from Kyle. I love the fact I tried to get Kyle Orski to actually call in. Now, he's got a little bit of a stuttering problem. He's really shy. He doesn't like talk on the phone. You know, he's only really comfortable around certain people. I hate to call you out there, Kyle, but you know, I'm just letting people know that's why you didn't call in. But he actually just sent me something, pointing it out perfectly, that people who don't have time and money to burn they'll actually just like shell out cash powers themselves up in the game instead of like, I know for me, I've been playing Skyrim for like the last 3 months, and I haven't had a lot of time to play, so.
And Skyrim was responsible for like a 2-point drop in the GPA.
Yeah, but man, I feel like I'm talking too much. Usually I don't talk this much on my own show. I'm like out of breath. I need something to drink.
Yeah, I know how you're saying with that, with the feeling like you have like no time to play, like max your characters out and stuff. Because between all the busyness I've got here where I'm at, I'm sitting there and I'm playing Skyrim, and dude, I haven't even maxed over a level 30 character yet. Like, I haven't done anything in it because I'll start to go with one character, and then I'll just like get an idea for another character and restart the game over again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I never finished Morrowind.
Actually, Morrowind was an endless game for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, it still is for me, and I've had it for like almost 10 years now.
Yeah, that game's great. So was Oblivion. I lost many hours of my life to Oblivion.
We'll get to that. Elder Scrolls is actually the topic for the next half of the show.
Next half.
Next half. But continue on here. I mean, we talked a little bit about the story. I don't want to get too much into it. Not to mention we don't know everything.
Right.
But I mean, and actually, I'm gonna throw this out there. I let you watch it before we came on. Blizzard released a animated short called Diablo III Wrath, which is actually, I think it's like a little bit of a prologue, maybe like before Sanctuary is even created. I'm not sure. It doesn't really give much background.
I think it is background.
Well, it could be. I mean, we don't know enough about the Diablo 3 story yet to really say it is or not, because, I mean, just from looking at it, it's just like a badass cartoon. So...
It's made by the people that did Metalocalypse and somebody else. I can't remember who the other part was, but I know the animators for Metalocalypse helped in it too.
Oh, that explains why it was so bloody. Definitely a game for a mature audience. Something that I don't think any of us are in this studio right now.
Is a strong word.
Oh, man. I just can't wait. Like, I'm so excited. I'm having a really hard time just putting thoughts together because it's just like, just want to play it. It needs to be Tuesday. And I'm not even going to get to play it till Friday, so I don't even know why I keep saying Tuesday. Me and Kyle Orski are actually going to work together on a review for the game. Not sure where we're going to publish it. Might send it out a couple places, but definitely online, WordPress. Like what you just suggested to me. Maybe I can talk people in at the Oakland Post next door to run it in the June issue, But then again, if we do that, I'm going to have every story in the issue because I'm writing so much for it.
Always just do online.
Could do online, too. But, man. Next weekend I'm going to Columbus, Ohio for Rock on the Range, and we're leaving Friday night, Saturday morning, but Friday during the day I'm actually going back to Algonac, the swamps of the Knack, to hang out with Kyle Orski to play that game for at least an hour, so I have enough info to write a review. I'm thinking when we do this, it'll probably be put up on our Facebook page for the pit, so that way any of our listeners can read, get a feel for the game if you've never heard of it before, or if you just want to know why the hell we're talking about video games instead of sports this hour. But, I think I'm going to focus more on the story part because I've read, like, the books. I've read, I've seen some of the comics. I know more about the background story than my partner does. But, Korski there probably, he's going to have a better feel for the gameplay, especially since he just told me he's going to be playing Monday night. Really wish he was here because I hate having to refer to him in, like, third person, and he's just, like, in the computer screen, but he's not actually here.
He's here in spirit and screen.
yeah, exactly. I feel like we have a good four-way roundtable discussion going on, even though we all agree on the same thing. Anything you guys don't like about the game as it stands right now? I know there's been a lot of argument over the graphics and the auction houses.
Well, I think when you have the auction houses, you're opening up... Well, whenever you open up suckers, you open up lawsuits because people think they can sue over everything. So if someone gets scammed, they blame Diablo. Diablo gets bad press, even though they probably signed a user agreement that says I won't sue Diablo.
Yeah.
Probably the worst things I saw was the only thing that I probably didn't like was the fact that I think it's still like this. You have to be connected online the whole time to play, I think.
Yeah.
Even the single player. And right now I don't have internet at my house, so if I have to be logged into Steam to play it, I'm going to be kind of like, meh.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just really happy it's coming out. I get some of those gripes though. And I like the way they're doing it. I've heard a lot of people refer to it as an MMO. It's not. It's pretty much a co-op single player game.
It's not. It's what I wish more MMOs were like.
Yeah. When we'll actually get into that aspect here in the next half. We actually have to go to break. We'll talk a little bit more about Diablo 3 because we're definitely not done here. But then we also have to get into the other topic of the show, which is welcome back to the Pit Sports Talk here on 88.3 WXOU. Did I just call it the Pit Sports Talk though? That is definitely not what this show is today.
Pit
If
Talk?
Yeah, the Pit Diablo Talk. Let's just call it the Black Abyss today. That's the name of the show today. The Black Abyss.
I like that.
The spawning pool of the demons of hell. God, if anyone's listening to this, they're gonna think we're all demented.
I mean,
I am a little bit. I'll give you that. I am a little bit demented.
It's always good to have a little bit of dementedness.
Exactly. But, in case you haven't been listening, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Pit here on 88.3 WXOU, Auburn Hills, and online, technically around the world, on WXOU.org. And we're sitting here talking Diablo 3 video games, just because we are...
Because why not?
Exactly, why not? It was announced 4 years ago and finally being released on Tuesday. One of the greatest... It was literally one of the greatest games, I think, released at least at that time. It still got like thousands of players who play online over their Battle.net system every day.
Yeah, I mean, you always, when you read game reviews, you always say, oh, it's just like this game, or it's not as good as this. Diablo is a game reference. It's a standard to meet, or to try to meet.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't Diablo. You can't.
No, you really can't. I mean, you can try, but I mean, Diablo, made by the same people who made World of Warcraft, is just as popular. Maybe doesn't get as much mainstream attention, obviously, because World of Warcraft is meant specifically for online, but
and they update all the time.
Yeah,
Diablo,
but still made by the
96.
same company. Diablo, actually not even Diablo, Blizzard in general, StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo, like some of the biggest games ever. I mean, we go to South Korea. If we were to go there right now, everyone would be sitting there playing either StarCraft or WoW. Probably StarCraft, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But
It's the only game you can go into Walmart and still find StarCraft 1 and
the expansion, and now StarCraft 2, and then the battle chest for Diablo. Oh,
yeah, they're still there. $20. Boom.
No. The Diablo battle chest is still $40. $30. It's been down to $20, but it's usually at $40. Still, what? Like 12 years later? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
if your game from back in the early 90s is still maintaining shelf value, I mean, that says a lot.
Absolutely. Now, I'm gonna do something real quick. If anyone wants to join in on the discussion, obviously because Lucky's on the line, you can't call in, but we got Twitter, folks. If you want to get a hold of me, send in a comment for the show here. We still got a lot of time left. My Twitter handle is at DJ Dennis OU. And Dylan?
Mine is at Dilldude64, DYLDUDE 64.
Nice. And Lucky, you don't have a Twitter as far as I know, but you're on the phone with us anyway, so.
That's right. I do have I have a Facebook page for my Sleeping Awake, but that's about it.
Oh, actually, you know what? Before we keep continuing on with our talk, why don't you plug that real quick?
Okay, yeah. If you guys want to check out any of the music, you can go to facebook.com/sleepingawake project, and you can find all the music there. And most of my music is totally free, so go for it.
And it's absolutely amazing. I'm not one for the electronic stuff. You know, I like a lot of passion in a voice along with instrumentals, but I mean, come on, you heard Through the Red Door there when we brought the second half of the show in. That sounded awesome. Even though my usual co-hosts think your music sounds like elevator music, Lucky.
That's true. That is true.
But
once
then
you get into a bit, it starts getting a little,
oh yeah,
little beats in there. But yeah. Sometimes I like piano. I don't know why. I love the piano.
Piano is an amazing instrument. So, but let's continue our talk with Diablo 3 here.
Yes.
So, before we went to break, getting a couple things through Facebook Instant Messenger. We were talking about a little bit about the graphics before we went in. A lot of people feel they're a bit too cartoony, and I think that was the same argument when StarCraft 2 came out. But I don't feel like they really are. I mean,
yeah, neither.
They are to an extent, but I mean, do you really want the same kind of like graphics we had the first time around? I mean,
right, Diablo 2's graphics are something you would find in an arcade. I mean,
yeah. I
think cartoony is better than blocky.
And I still don't think it was really cartoony. I mean, yes, it does have that flavor,
right?
But I mean, it's not like you're gonna have, especially for the way the game's been built since Diablo 1. It's not gonna be like, an Elder Scrolls game where you're gonna be right there playing the RPG. It's kind of like I don't know how to say it. It's like you get a feel for the environment through the graphics. And it's the same thing with Elder Scrolls, but it's a different style of gameplay.
Someone tweeted us to mention Mass Effect 3. That the first Mass Effect looked just awful, but over time they mastered the graphics engine, and God, the new one, aside from a few other problems, it looked beautiful, So Diablo 3, they looked, the first one looked crappy. The second one looked okay. This one, call it cartoony or not, it looks awesome.
Yeah, and
it's very artful. It looks like it's semi hand drawn. I think that looks kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. I mean, would you want something that looks completely done by computer, or I mean, obviously we want something that's really realistic, or we can have something that's true to its nature anyway. I mean, Diablo is a dark series. In the first one, you had tortured, massacred human bodies scattered all over the place. I remember in Diablo 2. A chest that you could open for, like items, wasn't even a chest. It was like a tortured soul. That was literally what it was called. Yeah. It was a body sitting, like, melted into the ground that was screaming for help, and you just kind of kick its head off, and it pops out like gold. Which
is how life works.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, what could be better than that? Walk over, you see, like, a zombie, kick its head open. Hey, look, free food or something. I don't know why I said food, but I mean, hey.
Because you know what kind of food I like to eat?
Brains.
Food I kick out of a zombie's head.
Yeah, brains.
Brains, right.
Dead brains, but brains. Oh, and, another feature of this game, though, is that, for the first time ever, any character, you can choose to be male or female. And there's actually a more customization, I don't want to say item, but a customization aspect to the game now, because before, the only way you could customize your character was by different armor sets and weapons. Now, I mean, you still can't completely customize them, but you can change their appearance a little bit, but you get dyes and stuff for their, armor, their weaponry, you can make them more unique, make them stand out more, instead of just being another conformed barbarian fighting through demons, kicking zombies' heads off for free gold.
And one of the things I loved about Diablo was, it's not like, if you know what slimes are just basic creatures that the designers put in the games. Basically tells players to just go suck it, because honestly, they just keep popping up, and no matter what you do, they always produce more. Well, there's this one story from this game called Ultima Online. It's really old, but this one guy figured that out. It's like, we know you're going to play anyway, loser, so if you want enemies, we can put effort, you can just level up. But it used to be a standard for slimes to split whenever you hit them. So he basically went into a confined room, killed slime after slime after slime after slime, then left the room and threw something in there that blew up over and over and over again. And one day, he just opened the door. The server crashed immediately. So, they put it back up. He did it again. 3 times, and then they finally backed down. They said, all right, we'll stop making slimes. I mean, but Diablo never had that issue. And this was after Diablo 1.
Yeah.
They never tried to screw over the gamers like that. That's awesome.
You know, that's another thing about, you know, a game like Diablo. Like, Blizzard, they know what their fans want. I mean, a lot of game companies just make stuff to make money. I mean, that's kind of the feeling about Mass Effect 3, in a way. I mean, great game, but, you know, I know a lot of people hated those endings, because there were, like, 4 different endings, but nobody liked any of them that I know of.
Yeah, they're opening up for loose ends, which is the most, like, it's the most disgusting thing you can do. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I still have yet to purchase that game just because of that. I've watched them all online. I've watched people actually watch in front of the screen them play out the last, you know, couple of missions and then the last mission, and I'm just kind of like, wait till it's $17.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to get into the game, but, you know, I've seen it played. It never really appealed to me. I'm not one for first-person shooters in any respect, really. I despise games like Call of Duty and Halo, which is funny because usually somebody likes at least one of those 2 games. I hate them both. I mean, I'll play them, but I'm not good, and I don't want to be good. I just play them because...
I originally hated Call of Duty, and I was always into Halo because it was more sci-fi, and then I got into Call of Duty, and I'd say I'm a fan up until this last one when I just kind of felt like, well, it's the same old stuff, and your multiplayer is getting worse.
Although, have you seen the trailer for the next one? They're trying to combine the games. They're trying to make a futuristic Call of Duty.
Yeah, they are.
It looks so bad.
Gonna be
and Damien's like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't really care about you talking
yeah.
about.
No, I mean...
By the way, before we move topics, be sure to add my gamer tag, which is the same as my Twitter, DillDude64, so I can kick your asses online.
Oh, he's calling out challenges. Oh. Well, I don't know if anyone's going to take you up on that offer. Or if they do, watch, you're going to get destroyed by everybody.
With my luck, I'm going to go like 0-10 for every match for the next week or so.
Oh.
By like little kids in like Orion.
Get back on topic here, though. Nice. Get back on topic here. Kyle actually just sent me something. He's like, oh, Cal level coming back in Diablo 3. Haha.
Yeah.
Now, not confirmed, but they've said that there's going to be a really big Easter egg. And the general consensus is something to do with the Cal level. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm not sure what, but...
For people who don't know, want to tell them about the Cal level?
Yeah. Okay, so
awesome.
when Diablo 1 came out, there was a rumor going around that there was basically a secret Cal level. And there wasn't. And then, you know, and the first game took place in a town called Tristram. The second game, in the first act, you go to rescue Deckard Cain, who actually started our intro at the start of the show.
Yeah.
He's like a really main NPC in the game.
He's like an Obi-Wan. He's like a guide.
Yeah, pretty much. I like that comparison.
I mean, he even he dresses and talks like him. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm calling him.
We'll call him Obi-Wan.
Let's see. Yeah, Obi-Wan Cain. There we go.
Obi-Wan Cain.
Anyway, you know, you go back to Tristram in the first act of the second game to rescue Deckard Cain, basically, but there's a body of a boy named Wirt, which sounds so awful on the radio. I apologize to anyone who feels offended by that. But basically, it was a crippled, you know, I'd say teenage boy. I don't want to say boy, but, you know, a teenager who's basically dead now. And they, like, one of the, like, you click on his body, and it just gives you, like, just a ton of gold. But one of the things you get is its leg. And you go through the game, you have no idea what it's for if you don't look it up online. But once you beat that first difficulty level, you know, the leg comes in handy because, as we're talking about, secret cow level, you know, you take a book, basically, of these scrolls for getting back to town, you know, while you're in game. I'm not going to get too in depth with like all these facts, but you basically, the leg comes in handy because if you use it properly, you open a portal to the secret cow level, which is filled with giant hell bovines with axes that are really difficult to defeat regardless of what level you are.
Yeah.
And
because they make them proportional to your level.
Yeah. And it's just Oh my god. It was the greatest thing ever. Is you going in there just basically to gain experience, gold, and items, and you're being attacked by these monsters that are just going moo, 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 moo.
It's obnoxious. They're actually recorded by Blizzard North employees who said it was the most annoying. The sound editors were quoted saying, "I literally wanted to quit while editing this."
Yeah. But, and that was a huge thing in that game. I remember playing online. I think I remember one game, actually. And we were playing. I don't know if Kyle Orski was with me. I think it might have been his cousin or some of our other friends. But we're in the Secret Cow level, and something comes across the screen saying Uber Diablo has been, revived. I don't remember if he could be... I think he had to be in a certain area, but then we suddenly go to another act, and we're fighting cows and freaking Super Diablo, and it's like, oh my god, just quit, please. The amount of just horror in the cow level, though, was just... I mean, we had to get large raiding groups. You try and do it alone, you're not surviving.
No,
I mean, it's going to take you forever.
The portal pops you wherever. You have to freaking run for it. You're about to get killed by an army of cows going, moo, 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 moo.
Yeah. Yeah, and, but it was so hard to get away because they could run pretty much as fast as you could. And then there was a Cow King, which actually has his own set of armor in the game.
Unique.
And you can only get it in that level after you kill him. So, basically, here's the thing with that. To get the armor, you have to be able to go in there constantly to kill this guy. And... if you can't do it,
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, but not so much that, but if you kill him and he doesn't drop the armor, or if he drops the same piece you already have, that's it for you unless you're playing online.
It's like going to McDonald's trying to get a better toy. It doesn't work out very well.
Yeah, and you get the same one each time.
I gotta eat that other crap and,
Yeah, but...
get killed by cows.
Oh, man. It's just so much fun. Let's see. Ah, man, the cow level.
Want to move to the next game?
Well, I want to talk real quick about the median mod for Diablo. Back in 2008 it was released. It changed the game. It added aspects from the Sin Ward trilogy book series. It added, just new levels, new dungeons, difficulties, new skills. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to get too in depth because I do want to move on. I mean, we only got 10 minutes, so I want to move on because we spent a lot of time on just this one game. But let's move on. But the median mod for Diablo, check it out. It will, at least before Diablo 3 comes out, play it this weekend. You'll be just in love, and then Diablo 3 comes out, and then you're good. But let's transition real quick. We got 10 minutes left to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online, which was released a week ago. How do you guys feel about that? Because I know there was a lot of uproar over it at first. Lucky, I know you have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, the first thing that popped in my head was the perfect MMO. And then the second thing that popped in my head was, wait, hold on. If this is going to be the perfect MMO that I think it's going to be glitchy as crap, and it's probably not going to work. So then that's why I waited and held off all of my fantasy dreams of what this could be. And when I basically heard of what they're doing, now that I've gotten more information on it,
some of it from me.
I can understand what I can understand what they're doing, and I'm probably going to wait for it a bit, but I know that they can't do it first person. I know they can't make it look amazing. I mean, when I played Oblivion, I stayed in the cave for an hour hitting a root just to watch some dirt fall off of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you said Oblivion though, right?
Or Oblivion, yeah. Skyrim
well,
takes it
here's
one
the
step
thing:
further.
the graphics with Elder Scrolls Online are going to be Oblivion
because
graphics.
They can't pull off Skyrim graphics with 200 characters.
Yeah, they can't. I mean,
It would crash.
And I'll talk about a couple more points that you brought up there, Lucky. But another thing is, though, when you said 200 people online, they're going to have at some point, maybe not at launch, and the game's due to release late 2013. So, I mean, we still got time. But one of the things I want to do for PvP type stuff is 100 vs. 100 raid, which is just
unreal.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never even heard of a game that can pull that off without a server crashing.
I think the most I've ever seen was maybe 64, like 32 versus 32, not 200.
Yeah, that's gonna be epic.
Especially with Skyrim's like the Elder Scrolls active blocking system, where you don't have to keep pressing block. You can just hold it down. I could see these going for hours.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
you can keep healing. And thankfully, what Damien and I were talking about earlier, there's none of that annoying healer, tank, scrapper crap. You pick a race, you pick a type of, you pick a set of skills, you increase whatever skills you'd like to increase. But there's no designated healer that sits in the back and does essentially nothing. There's no tank that can unrealistically take as much damage.
They want to get rid of the Holy Trinity, which is basically DPS, healer, and tank. Because that means everyone can play together. You don't have to wait for somebody to be a specific type of player to get involved. And then, I mean, that's something that's great about Diablo. It's basically still going to be single-player co-op, in theory.
Right.
With multiplayer, like, MMO aspects added to it, which is just phenomenal. Now, granted, we have to see what the story is going to be. I know one of the main antagonists is supposed to be one of the Daedra princes. What's his name? Molag Bal, I think.
Molag Bal, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But, it's going to be just an epic thing. It's going to cover the entire world of the Elder Scrolls, which is the continent of Tamriel.
Yeah.
And
the things off the continent, like Somerset Isle and all that. It's going to be
We're going to see
huge.
Places we haven't seen in an Elder Scrolls game before.
One of the things they talk about is, like, ironically named Elsewhere, where is that the Khajiit are from?
Yeah, the Khajiit.
Yeah.
It's things that they've shown us clips of or pictures of that have been leaked, but they said that they're making them fully functional and fully visitable, but only through expansion packs. But still, it's awesome that they're like they built this whole world and they're actually going to show us all of it.
Yeah, see, that I'm excited for. I've always, the one thing that excites me about Elder Scrolls is like seeing where they're going to go to next. And if you're going to give me an MMO where even if I don't have it all at once, if I can, get an expansion and go back to Morrowind, revisit Morrowind, or go to Elsewhere and, see where the Khajiit come from, because I always like playing a thief or assassin, so I usually go Khajiit. So
I notice a lot of people go Khajiit. I usually go Orc or Dark Elf.
I get lazy and go with Nord.
I just like to be a big old badass and just hack up things.
Orc is good just to run in and max him out and beat the crap out of stuff.
Yeah. No, actually, something that relates to both Diablo and the Elder Scrolls Online, my favorite way to play is melee with the ability to use magic. That's what I played Warhammer Online, which was, a great game, but you had to be one or the other. I was DPS, magic user. If I would have played WoW, which I only played for about a minute one day, once, that's the only time I ever played, was for a minute, and I fell through the earth and just fell forever. But, if I would have played that, it would have been just solely magic, because I like the ability of ranged and, hand-to-hand. So, in both Diablo and Elder Scrolls, you can do that. I've been playing Skyrim. I run around with a sword in one hand and just like a fireball in the other hand. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I found out you could do that, I was so excited.
Oh, yeah. And see, we don't know everything yet, but we know enough, and sadly, we used up way too much time pretty much rambling on about Diablo over and over again, which I'm not going to complain about.
I'm not going to regret.
Yeah, I mean, the point of the show was to pretty much talk about that game and cover this other thing, but, the Elder Scrolls is just... Both these games, I remember playing Morrowind and Diablo, and when I was in high school, that's why my GPA was like a 2.0 for my first 2 years.
Yeah, I downloaded Skyrim about 2 months ago, and I think my GPA dropped on a steady decline. Hey, Mom and Dad, stop listening, please. Because I put it on my computer, and I bring my computer to school.
Yeah, that would explain, because you're still in high school here at the moment.
Yep.
Dylan here is actually coming to OU in the fall. You're going to be a photographer next door at the Oakland Post, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. And you're going to be working with me a lot, because
of course.
New sports editor. Oh, yeah. Props right here.
I've been out of school since 06. I'm going back in the fall, so I've had a hefty period of break.
Oh, man. You should. I'm telling you need to move up here and come to OU with us. But then again, it would probably be just awful because we do nothing but game all the time.
Yeah, the apartment would be one massive LAN party. That's all that'd be going on there.
Exactly. I mean, my roommate right now is actually a lot like our game reviewer Kyle Orski, and only socially awkward. Nothing against my roommate, I love him, but he's a little bit socially awkward. But I'm surprised we have not had these LAN parties yet, because that's all he does. It's all I used to do. Right now I'm way too busy, but
Yeah, can't you tell he's too busy?
All right, we got to end the show here for the day. I want to talk to you after the show, Dylan, because I have an idea for something we're going to do after the show.
Sounds good.
If you have time. But, Lucky, I want to thank you for coming on with us today. Your first time ever. If you ever want to come back on, you have the number, you have my number, you know how to get a hold of me.
Definitely.
But,
and I appreciate it, and it was an honor to be on your radio show.
You're on my radio show almost every week, and you don't even know it. Because of your music. All right, well, from all of us here at the Pit, wish you a happy Friday. Have fun. Be safe this weekend. Don't drink too much if you're of age. And if you're not of age, don't tell anybody. Especially not me, because I don't condone it. And
of course not.
Next week, I don't know if we're going to have a show next week, because I'm supposed to be going to Rock on the Range. So if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, that's a good way to know. But other than that, hopefully we'll see you next week. If not, we'll see you 2 weeks from today, listening to The Pit, usually sports talk here on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills.